Choose your man, choose your trade-off. Let's talk about the trade-offs of dating a softer man, aka the cons of dating a more feminine man. So sit down. Just like masculine men come with pros and cons, so do softer feminine men. And some of these things sound small in the beginning until you're living it every day. The first trade-off is direction. Softer men are usually more passive. Which means someone else has to lead the relationship, which means majority of the time that's going to become you. You're deciding what's happening, you're pushing things forward, you're always figuring it out. In the beginning, it feels fine, but over time, women start realizing that they're the ones driving the steering wheel, the whole relationship, and that's not what you want. The next trade-off is money and provision. Softer men are usually not full providers. They want to be the princess too. They want to be the princess. Like, you can't have two princesses. Like, you just can't. It's not going to work. Which means most of the time, the relationship is going to be 50-50. Or it's going to be 50-50 from the beginning, from the first dinner date. You're paying half of the bill. Absolutely not. You're paying bills together. You're splitting responsibility. And again, some women are perfectly fine with that. Me, absolutely the F not. But some women realize later that they actually wanted a man who takes more financial leadership later on in the relationship. And that's where the mismatch starts. Another thing women experience is mental load. Life has a lot of moving parts, bills, schedules, appointments, planning. With a softer man, a lot of structure can end up sitting on your shoulder. You're slowly going to become the manager of the relationship, and that can get extremely exhausting. Now, this is a big issue. Remember, two of the same energies are never going to magnetize each other. Polar opposites is what magnetize each other. So this means if he's in his feminine and you're in your feminine, there's going to be no polarity. Polarity and attraction come from being opposite energy. He's in his masculine, you're in the feminine. That creates polarity and attraction. He's in his feminine, you're in your feminine. No polarity, no attraction. When both people are operating in the same emotional space, the romance is going to start clashing. The relationship can start feeling more like friendship and more like roommates. You still care about each other, but that spark that comes from polarity starts weakening. And sometimes resentment starts to grow quietly. Because deep down, you realize you don't want to be the strong one all the time. Now, let's talk about what happens when life gets real heavy. Stress, responsibilities, and children. When kids enter the picture, life has to become very structured. There are schedules, decisions, pressure. And if the man you're with is very passive, that responsibility is going to start landing on you. You're not just the mom. You become the planner, the organizer, the emotional stabilizer. And sometimes, majority of the time, most likely you will become the leader of the household. Some women are okay with that, but eventually some women realize that they want someone to carry more of the load. Like to carry some of the load of this house with them. And that's when the trade-offs become very real. Because in time when you're being a woman, you need a man to be the structure for you. You need that there. You need that dynamic to hold you, to carry you, to lead you. Especially postpartum, big, very emotional events, or you need that structure. That's what creates that balance there. And I want to clarify that none of this means that softer, more feminine men are bad partners. That's not what I'm saying. Some women generally thrive in that dynamic, but relationship, always remember, they are about structure. Another con of dating softer, more feminine men is that respect is going to slowly start to break. And this is something many women do not expect. When a woman is making most of the decisions, pushing the relationship forward and carrying majority of the structure, sometimes 90% of the time, she will start to slowly lose respect for him. And it's not that she wants to, it's something that will naturally happen biologically because the dynamic feels more like a mother to a parent rather than lovers. And attraction rarely survives that shift. Never. Another con is that you may feel like the protector. In masculine and feminine polarity, the man usually always feels more protective. With a softer man, sometimes the roles flip. You may feel like you're the one protecting the relationship, the one making sure that everything in the relationship is stable. Some women are okay with that, and then others eventually figure out that they're carrying the whole emotional armor of this relationship. Another pro is that you're gonna have decision fatigue. Listen, someone always has to make a decision in life. Where to live, what to do next, how to handle problems. If he avoids making those calls, the responsibility usually always lands on you. And after years of that, many women feel exhausted and burnt out. Another con is that you can start feeling alone in leadership. Leadership is heavy. When you're the one always deciding, pushing, planning, you don't feel supported. You feel like the only adult in the room. And that can create resentment over time. If you notice, that's the same dynamic between a mother and a son, or a mother and a daughter, a mother and a parent, a child and a parent. Another con is that security can feel uncertain. Some softer men prioritize emotional connection over building long-term structure and long-term stability, which means stability financially or practically is going to grow slower. And for women who want provision, structure, and protection, that slowly is going to start killing your feminine energy because you're not going to feel safe. So that's another pro. Your feminine energy is going to decrease. You're going to step up more in your masculine. Like I said, some women genuinely thrive in this dynamic, but you have to be honest with yourself about what you desire. Because if you deep down want to be protected for, provided for, and led, this is not going to work for you. A passive dynamic is eventually going to frustrate you. And that's exactly why I created the Feminine Reset. Because so many women have spent so long in survival mode that they don't even realize that they are in their masculine energy. The Feminine Reset helps you connect with your softness, your nervous system, and the version of you that actually wants to receive and wants to be in the receiver energy rather than the protector giver energy. And if you're trying to understand and recognize men who attract and who naturally invest, protect, provide, lead, that is what the provider magnet is for. Because masculine leadership and emotional unavailability are not the same thing, but women constantly confuse these two. And when you understand the difference, your dating life changes completely. Some women say they want a masculine man, but their relationship habits only work for softer men. And it's time to change that approach and that strategy and those habits to attract what you desire. So if you're ready for that, the link is in my bio. And also, I hope this video helped. I hope it gave you clarity, and I love you. Bye.